Hello, beautiful. You are listening to episode 68 of the Africana Woman podcast. Chulu is my name. I am a writer, self-branding coach, entrepreneur, and mentor. This show is the home of African women's stories. We share ideas, triumphs, challenges, and lessons from our perspective as women. Our library is a step to cementing our place in history. Her story, your story, is powerful. Thank you so much for tuning in. Welcome to all the new listeners and welcome back, Africana Woman family. Hey, I love you guys. So please hit the subscribe button and visit africanawoman.com to become an official Africana Woman visionary. Now, you guys know Africana Woman is not just the podcast. There is a blog. There is a community. There is so much going on. Oh, there's a book club. Oh my goodness. Like, you need to join the fun. So we are continuing our Caribbean special. And I just had to invite my sister, you guys. Ew, hey, guys, the way I love this woman. Her energy, her vibe, her fashion, her hair. I even got her husband to partner for an amazing talk on men's health, like their mental health. Can you tell, like, I'm excited? This is none other than Dr. Rennes Touissant-Keshinro. Like, I know I probably said that wrong. Touissant. Okay. Okay. Touissant-Keshinro. I'm sorry, girl. Okay. Anyway, this episode really digs into the healing process. Now, last week, we heard that if you're faking it, you ain't gonna make it, baby. So the question now is, how do you heal? What does the healing process look like? So go ahead and enjoy this conversation. Have you ever considered dancing for mental health? Dr. Rennes will be the first to tell you the powerful connection that physical movement has to your mental health, as it is an expression of self and emotions. Her own personal struggles with her self-identity began as young as 13 when she migrated to the U.S. For years, she hid behind academic success, but in reality, she was unfulfilled, lonely, and had lost her identity. After getting her doctorate in chiropractic, she worked in South America for 3 years. It is there that she began to dance for her mental health, and her journey of self-discovery began. In 2020, Dr. Rennes founded Dance for Mental Health, her pioneer program that invites women to heal through 3 pillars: identity, discover who you are; faith, affirm who you are; and community, support who you are. This hip-shaking doctor, and that's not a joke, will have you on your feet with her high energy and infectious vibe. Her promise is to help women find joy in the midst of their unhappiness. Dr. Rennes currently resides in New York City with her husband of her youth, where she is also a mental health advocate and speaker. Like, I was just like trying to get to the end of that so that I could say how excited I am to have Dr. Rennes on the show. Hi, sis.
Thank you so much for having me. We made it. We're here. I'm excited.
We're here. So guys, oh my goodness. I met Rennes through a P2P program that's under Patrice Washington. And I think I don't even know why I was checking your Insta. Like, I don't know. I think I had reached out to you and I was like, oh, let me check her Insta. And I went to her Instagram page and there's all these videos of dancing. And this Caribbean lady is dancing the hell out of African songs. I was like, yes, yes, yes. I can be friends with her.
Funny. And I remember Patrice talking so highly of you, Chulu, and I was like, I need to know her. I need to find her because when I hear stories that connects with me, I immediately go on the Insta. I was like, okay, I'm gonna follow it. I'm gonna follow it up. So it was an instant connection, I believe, between us. So yeah,
I'm so excited we're here. Okay, let's get started because once we start talking, like we will go over. Anyway, it's okay. So Rennes, what is your favorite childhood memory?
Oh my goodness. So I grew up in the Caribbean. I'm giving my country a shameless plug of my country. I'm from a small Caribbean island called Dominica. It is known as the nature island of the Caribbean because there's so much nature preserved, like other islands, like, they become more commercialized. But Dominica has a lot of greenery, a lot of rivers. Actually, we had 365 rivers, waterfalls. So my favorite childhood memory is going to the rivers and getting that cold bath. Oh my goodness. And eating mangoes. Mangoes are my favorite. Mangoes are my favorite fruit. So rivers and mangoes, honestly, is one of my favorite childhood memories because I love nature. I love being outside. So yeah, I would say that hands down.
Oh my goodness. Listen, I don't know if I've told you this before, but my mom loves mangoes and she has like a ton of trees in her house. I think the last time my son counted, there were like 23 mango trees just in that one property.
I remember you posted something about mangoes and I was like, oh my God. Yes, so I'm ready for my visit. Okay, take me
exactly.
I need to come in the middle of mango season.
You do, so that would be like December. Like December's a good time. Yeah,
perfect.
It's a time to visit for mango season because we'll just be sitting and just be like this, like the mango would just be
all day. I could eat mangoes all day. I don't know what's gonna happen afterwards, but I'm gonna eat it. But yeah.
Goodness. So it's such a beautiful childhood memory, and it sounds like, you spend so much time outside, you spend so much time in nature and I just love the freedom of being a child, especially when you come from what people like to call third world countries or whatever, but there's so much time, out there and it's so beautiful and gorgeous. And I can imagine the contrast of moving from Dominica to the States. It must have been a rude shock. Tell us about that.
It was. So it's so funny because I'm learning that nature is part of our wellness. Because, just being outside and growing up, like being from the Caribbean, all you hear is like, oh, I want to go overseas. I want to go to America. I want to go to America. That was a dream for everyone, including my parents. So, like we're going to America. So when I got that was the goal. But then after getting there, it was a culture shock. Because the parents don't really prepare us because since we're kids, we're just supposed to adapt, we don't they didn't consider that, moving us out of our home, like our house to like an apartment, that alone is a shock. Not being able to be outside, playing with your friends, that's a whole yes. Because I never enjoyed sitting in front of TV and watch it. My greatest joy was being outside. So coming from that, it was a lot to adapt, but you just have to push through. And, as a child, you can't complain about it. You feel, different, but hey, that's what everyone is doing. That's what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm supposed to be happy. So you just roll with the punches, basically.
And I just want to explain what you're talking about because, our kids get to spend so much time outside, like playing with the neighbors, playing with the neighborhood kids. They have made a whole group outside. You just be like, okay, it is 8 a.m. You've had your breakfast. Goodbye. Go play. They're back at 4 p.m., 5 p.m. for their tea or whatever. But, there's just this thing of go outside and just play, you know, and you're just playing with the neighborhood kids. And that brought back so many memories for me when you said that. And you know, when you're like, okay, then you go to, you know, the States and it's like, security, safety, don't play with strangers.
Yes. I was going to say that your security is gone, because back home, like, I grew up in a small village, so I could do whatever. I felt safe. But in America, don't go outside, don't do this, don't do that. It's just like, it put that fear into you, like, hey, this is the dream. This is the American dream that we like, our security is gone, you know? So I could even remember situations where I felt so unsafe in that environment, as opposed to home, you know. That's why home is always, even if my mom still lives there, but even if, you know, I had no family there anymore, I would still, that's my safe space always. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, you know, in your story, you talk about, you know, losing your self-identity, which began as young as 13. Talk us through what that felt like and what that meant for you.
Like I said, at the moment, I didn't even know, like, you know, as a child, couldn't express myself. My entire family would basically look at me as the good girl. Like, I'm the youngest of 3 kids. So I was always a little bit advanced when it comes to my education. So everybody's like, oh, and like when it comes to being in church and doing things in church, everyone just looked up to me to do all those good things. But slowly, I went through some things when I was younger. I went through sexual abuse. That is something that I kept as, it was a secret, you know. So I felt like I was living like a double life, like I was living a lie. And I think that's where I really started to lose my identity. I used to be very outspoken, and like, I love, being, on stage. Like, I was when I was younger, I used to do, pageants and concerts. I used to do all those things. I used to be out there. And then slowly but surely, I just felt, I didn't know that at the time, but just reflecting back on my life, I was like, what happened to that girl? You know, but I guess feeling like I'm living that double life. Slowly and surely, I just lost who I am. And I tried to present myself in a way that, okay, this is how everyone sees me. So that's the image I have to upkeep. So, that's I think that's at 13, because I moved to the US when I was 13. And then that's a whole nother cycle, a whole nother situation. I had to really, I would say I basically I was a new girl in middle school, and from another country with an accent. So I had to put on that image, like, okay, I got to fit in as quick as possible. So again, I continued to just lose myself in that environment.
Ooh, yeah. You've said a lot there. Yeah. I think one of the things that I just want to really just go touch on is, you know, the culture of, you know, kids should just adapt and, you know, not preparing your kids. I mean, it's great. You want a better life for them. And you know what you're talking about when you're saying you want a better life for them. But, you know, just preparing them will go such a long way, instead of, oh, they'll adapt. Oh, they're young. No, they'll be fine. Yeah. No, we don't need to talk to them.
And also, they didn't know any better, you know?
Yeah.
So I always say we can't blame our parents, because
that's so true as well.
They didn't know any better. But that was the reality. That was the reality.
So one of the things that you said was that, you know, you hid behind the success of academics, right? And I think a lot of times we think that when someone is going through a thing, they're spiraling down into, you know, derelict behavior. I don't know, be it drugs, be it alcohol, be it whatever, But then you're talking about, okay, I am hiding my pain and, all of this that I'm going through in academics. Talk to us about that.
Like I said, I had to, at the time, obviously I don't feel this way, I had to keep up that image that I was a good girl. I was educated. I was smart. So it was instilled in me is from a young age, education, you have to get your education. So that was my only focus. When I came to the US, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to get an education. And that was always my goal. How I got there wasn't a sweet story because when you're dealing with unhealed trauma, it's going to manifest in different ways. Like, I partied, I did all those things, but eventually I still was able to get the degrees at the end. It was always my goal. None of my other siblings went to college. None of my other siblings got a degree, but I knew in order for me to be that person for my family, like I need to continue. I needed to get that degree.
Oh, I didn't know that you were the first in your family. Mm-hmm. Good for you.
Yeah, in my immediate family.
Yeah.
Most of my siblings and I.
Cool. Okay. So when you got your doctorate, and I can imagine, like I've heard people talking about the whole process of, getting your doctorate and how it gets crazy, to put it lightly. When you got that, you soon went to work in South America for 3 years. Tell us what was happening around that time.
So before I went to, I need to include that. Before I went to South America, I actually spent 10 weeks in Ghana. Yes. So I was going through my doctorate program. And again, I lost my identity into getting this title, getting this degree. And at the end, I had one of my lowest points throughout that program. And I really did not know who I was. I could not look myself in the mirror. I had a full breakdown, and literally sometimes we go through those things for God to reveal to us remind us who we really are. Because that very same week I had that breakdown, my dad, for the first time in my entire life, I remembered, picked up the phone and he said, "I love you." Right. And at that time I was going through a really bad relationship issues and where I had no self-confidence. Right. I gave my all to this person and it completely shattered my heart. And at the same time, the same week, the first man I'm supposed to love, called me out the blue through whatever he was going through. And he told me he loved me. And that was my at my lowest point. That was my breakthrough. I don't think my dad even know. I don't think he remembered that conversation. I haven't really had that conversation with him, but that was a turning point for me that you need to wake up. Like God, no matter what you're going through, God is always there. Right. So, that final year of the program, I wanted a fresh start. I needed to get away. I really needed to reconnect with myself. And I felt like I needed to go to Africa and specifically Ghana because the program, my college had a program in Ghana for an externship. So you go in and you get the hands-on experience before you graduate. I was like, I'm going to go. I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to go to Ghana. And I applied and some things happened. I almost did it, like the whole thing almost crashed. But everything went through, thankfully, last minute. I applied for a scholarship. I got it. Like everything fell into place for me to go. And those 10 weeks was, oh my God, so amazing. Again, I feel reconnected to who I am. Because you talk a lot about know your roots. Like I felt like I was home. You couldn't tell me I wasn't home. And when I came back from those 10 weeks, I was like, I need more of this. I mean, America's home. You know, I'm an American citizen now. I could always come back to this. Like, why am I staying here? So I came home and I was like, I'm looking for a job anywhere in the world. Literally, I was looking for a job anywhere in the world as a chiropractor. And I got an interview for a job in Peru. And literally 2 days later, he called me. He's like, oh, I want to offer you the job. I think you're amazing because you're cultural. Because, you know, if you're from a different country, from like literally a third world country, I need you to come over here. If you don't speak Spanish, it's okay. We need you to learn it once you get there, but you'll have a translator. I was like, sure. I told my family and they were like, everybody, even till this day, like, Peru? Like, what is in Peru? I was like, listen, I'm going to get my life, okay? I can't do this anymore. So that's how I ended up in Peru. But at the time, I thought I was not necessarily running away. I thought I was getting a fresh start. But sis, let me tell you, the work began once I got there. It wasn't no fresh start. The work began when I got to Peru. So that's how I ended up. I wanted to run away or start fresh away from the regular hustle and bustle of this American life and working and to pay bills. I wanted something different because I was losing myself in that system.
So, you know, you're talking about the work began, and I talk to a lot of women who feel lost. Mm-hmm. You know, they don't know how to get out of it. They know that something is wrong. They don't know what exactly, and they just don't know how to get out of it, you know? So what was the work? And, you know, if somebody was looking at, okay, I want to get my life together, you know, like, where do I start? What is the work?
Listen, you don't have to be as dramatic as I did it to go to another country. You really don't. But for me, I had, because I'm recovering from it, right? I have people pleasing syndrome. So I was pleasing everyone around me, the friends. Not to say they were bad people, but I was ignoring what I needed. And on top of that, once I graduated out of college, I had nowhere to go. Like, I was free to literally do whatever I wanted. I didn't have any kids. So, you know, that was my story. But the work begins when you look inward. I thought a new location was going to change how I felt about myself. I thought a new location was going to change who I was. And that was not the case, obviously. So if you're looking to start fresh or whatever, just know that changing location, moving to another city, a new house or whatever, that's part of it. It's helpful, but it starts here. Right. I was excited. Oh, I got there. I was excited. I was happy. And then a few weeks later, I was just like all the emotions, all the anxiety, all the feelings of depression all came over me. And I had to start looking within myself. I had to start listening to myself. But at that time, I was away from my norm. I had to break the cycle. I was away from my cycle. And the only thing I had was me. Me and Jesus. That's what I said. It was me and Jesus. So I really started to pay attention to my thoughts, actually pray and listen from God, like hear from God, like listen to him. Because before that, prior to that, you hear stories of people saying like, oh yes, God told me this and God told me. I was like, God don't be talking to me. Where he at? He's not talking to me. That's what I used to think. Like, I used to think God is like this sexy voice, like, hi, my daughter. This is what, you know? No, seriously. I was so insecure. I was so jealous of other people. And it's like, God, don't be like, I go to church every day, feel like I pray, I dance, I praise and worship, I do all those things. But why am I not getting the guidance? Why is he not leading me to green pastures? So I really started how you get to the work is looking inward, just being silent, being still, right? Like this, sometimes I want to throw it away, like literally throw it in the trash. Just be still, sit in silence, listen to your thoughts, literally pay attention to your thoughts. Because the beautiful thing about humans, we're the only ones who could think about what we're thinking about. Like we could tap into a subconscious mind. And when I first heard the work about subconscious, I was like, what's that? Like, I don't know how to meditate. I don't know how to quieten my thoughts, but meditation is not really quieting your thoughts. It's paying attention. It's more paying attention to it. And do things that make you feel alive. And like you said in my bio, that's when I really started to dance. Because like, what else can I do? I got up every morning. I was having anxiety. It was like, I didn't know what else. I was praying. I was like, what else can I do? And I just started putting on music, all the music I learned in Ghana. Listen, that's why I love Afrobeat so much. It made me feel alive again. I'm Caribbean. We have great music. We have amazing music. But I think Afrobeats is just a combination of both it makes me feel alive. So I would literally get up in the mornings before going into work, turn on the music, turn on Afrobeats, and just dance. And I immediately felt better. So that's how, that's a combination of the things I do, the work that I did. And slowly but surely, it was, some days was hard. Some days I didn't want to do it. There were days I still had breakdown, like why I'm still feeling like this, why I'm still feeling anxiety, why am I still insecure of who I am? And I'm still doing the work. But the work starts in here and in here, not out, not externally.
So when do you feel like, was there a moment that you felt like, oh, wow, things have changed? Like, I feel different. I feel like I've moved past that insecure 13-year-old. You know what I mean?
I would say I probably felt that after I came back to the U.S. because that was the real test. I was away for 3 years. Coming back here was the real test, and being around family and being around my friends and just seeing what's different, how I respond different, how I feel different. Because you've changed where certain things don't trigger you anymore. When you don't have to respond to certain things, you start responding differently. So that's how I know the insecurity has gotten better. I can't say it's completely washed away, but that's how I knew that I've grown. And growth is not it's not night and day. Because you might go through every day and feel like I'm not getting better. Like I'm still in the same place. But no, it takes 1% per day. 1%. That's not a huge difference. You're not going to see a huge difference overnight, but you keep working at it. You keep pushing through. And then in a longer period of time, you do 1% every day for 3-4 years, then you're really going to see a difference. Because a lot of people, when they start doing certain things, they give up so early because they don't see any change. They don't see the progress. But trust me, keep going, keep doing it little by little. Just pick one thing that you want to work on and just keep working at it every single day. Don't worry if you do 1% a day. Don't worry if you kind of backtrack a little bit. It's okay because you're still doing 1%. You're still ahead of where you started. So, yeah.
Sis, you just said a whole word right there. You said growth is not night and day. I was like, And you have changed when you react differently and not being triggered by certain things. I was like, oh, she said a whole word right there. Okay. So now you are helping women with dancing. Tell us about why you decided to found Dance for Mental Health, and what has that journey been like?
That journey has been long too, because since I was in Peru, it's almost 7 years ago. I was in Peru. And when I started doing it, and I still have the post on my Instagram, I posted one video, and I wasn't consistent posting videos, but I posted one of the first video I posted. I was like, man, this feels amazing. I need to share this with the world. If this is helping me, just in my house, just dancing myself, I'm sure it could help other women. So I started that because it was what helped me. I felt that there was a need. Cause we talk about dance for physical, health. There's dance classes, there's Zumba, which I absolutely love, but I wanted to be focused on a mental, like how it makes us feel mentally. So I got the vision 6 years ago, almost 7 years ago. And it was last year on my 33rd birthday. I was like, oh, this is my Jesus year. I want to finally step into what I feel like I'm called to do. By this time, I'm still practicing. I'm still a chiropractor, but I feel like I was still unfulfilled. There's something more I need to be doing. So I had my first live dance class in New York City. And then a month later, the pandemic happened. I was like, oh, well, I guess that's it. I don't have to do it anymore. I did it once. The first class was amazing. Like, hey, I tried, and right. Don't we do that? We have all excuses not to, do what, we're called to do. So anyways, that's when we met around that time, when the pandemic started. That's when we met in Patrice's class. And one of our other coaches, Jatia, she was the one who encouraged me, like, hey, do online classes. Like, hello, everyone is home, in front of the computer. People are dealing with things, you need to, she encouraged me, and I did it. And I was having dance classes online all of last year, and the response, again, it was amazing. Like, women saying it's helped them with anxiety and depression, and just the community, just being in a community is so helpful for our mental wellness. Yeah. So that's part of wellness, being social. And even thank God for technology. I still prefer meeting people in person, but hey, but thank God for technology. We can still have the community online. So yeah, that's how it started.
Let me tell you guys, I have done one of Rennes's dance challenge weeks. It was so much fun. And I'm like, listen, even if I have 2 left feet, I don't care. I'm just going there to be like, hey, yes, let's have some fun. And, people are joining from literally all over the world, and you're all just dancing and just letting yourself be free. I would strongly, strongly recommend you go check out her classes. And check out her page. Listen, like her Instagram page, her YouTube channel. She's got another one, which is ola.nez. Oh. So that is so much fun as well. I'm doing like shameless plugs here.
Yeah, you are. You really are. I appreciate it.
Listen, such good content. Like, you're going to smile whenever like one of her TikToks or her reels comes up, because you're just like, ooh, ain't that the truth? And you're laughing away. But and this woman has got so much energy. Like, I don't know where you get your energy from, girl. I thought I was
from the Lord, girl, from the Lord.
Girl, because I'm that person who be in the club like, that's my song. You're trying to get out of the club, and then it's like, that's my song, and you head back in. That is me. But you take dancing energy to another level. I tell people it's not about the dance, and it's not about keeping up with
my energy and my dances is really about you. Because I look at life as a dance, there's ups and downs, it's okay to slow down and have the slow dancing. And when you need to, because, I could do this all day, but eventually I have to come down because, child, 30s is kicking my behind. So, I got to slow down. And I also look at life as a groove. Like dancing is a groove, finding your groove in life, finding what makes you happy, finding what you're good at, like focusing on your strength, like, find your groove. And grooving, like in Caribbean soca, we have groovy soca where it's just like, you find, yes. So if you look at life as a dance, it's not always just a beat and going. Sometimes it's okay to slow down. It's okay. Because when you slow down is when you find your groove. Because sometimes we just do too much and we can lose ourselves in doing too much. And that's what I've done over the years. I'm trying to do too much to impress other people. I lost myself in the process. I did not know how to slow down. So that's one of the things Peru allowed me to do. It allowed me to slow down. I mean, I didn't do a lot of traveling, but in life and all the things I was doing and trying to be involved in all the things, it allowed me to slow down and remember who I am and get reconnected to me. So think of dancing, groove, life. So if you're going through something, think about dancing. It's okay. Slow down. If your friends and the people around you, if they're further ahead, that's fine. That's their thing. It's okay. Find your purpose, find your groove, and just think about dancing. Dancing through life. And at the end of the day, dancing brings us joy. And that's just not me saying that. There's a science behind it. When we dance, when we move our body, we release this we release hope chemicals from our brain to let us know that everything is going to be fine. It reduces your stress producing hormones. So you're more relaxed. You have less anxiety. And it gives you more energy to do. You're more relaxed, but then you get more energy to do things that you love, do things more enjoyable. Is the word, enjoyable. Yes. So dance is not just for the physical. Dance just does help your mental wellness. And I actually created like a acronym for the word like groove. So the G, you want to, I wrote it down so I won't forget. I don't stumble on my words like I actually did a few weeks ago. So G, you want to gather information about your circumstances. If there's something that you worry about, gather the information. Because a lot of times we make up stuff that's not true. We say, oh, this is the worst case. This is the worst thing that's going to happen. Oh my God. And it's not true. So you want to gather the information. You want to recognize your thoughts. What are you thinking about the situation? Like I said, are you thinking the worst case scenario? Are you thinking like, oh my God, I can't do this. Oh my God, this is just too much. So gather information. And then you want to observe how you feel. So you gather the information about the circumstances. You want to observe your thought about the situation. You want to, the first O, you want to observe how you feel, because your thought is going to create a feeling. If you say, oh my God, I can't do this, then you're going to feel discouraged. If you say, oh my God, you know what? This, if I don't do this, I'm going to die or something like that. Something, it's because we really think if I don't get this job, I'm going to be on the street tomorrow or something like that. It's going to create anxiety, right? So the next, you want to open up to different possibilities. Whatever the situation is, instead of thinking about the worst case scenarios, think of something good. Open yourself up. And then you want to validate the V. You want to validate yourself. And it's something, I will be honest, it's something I sometimes still struggle with, getting validation from other people. Even my husband, God bless his heart. And he always telling me, babe, how do you feel? How does it make you feel? Right? We want to validate ourselves. And I like to think that when we truly listen to ourselves, our intuition, we're listening to God, because God is within us. So learn how to look inward and validate yourself. And then the E is just to move, the ease through life. That's actually my word for 2022. That should be the word for the rest of my life. Ease. Do things with ease. You don't have to force it. Just allow. And once you listen to yourself, just allow things to happen. So that's the acronym I created for the word groove. You groove through life. You dance through life.
And that is so good. So good. And my favorite is the second O. Open yourself to other possibilities.
Yeah.
This is like, I love that one. I feel like that's one of the things that I'm always on a mission to do. Because, when you're talking to people, they're just like, oh my God, I can't do this. I can't do that. This will never happen. I'm like, open yourself to other possibilities, please.
Exactly. The same way you think in the negative, you could switch it to something positive.
Right.
You could really open, you could really see. And we create our life, we create it here first in our mind. We create what we see. So yeah.
That was so good. That is such a good place for us to be winding down.
Yes.
And this has been such an amazing conversation. All right, Dr. Rennes, let us know how we can find you, how we can get on these dance classes. Like, let the audience know. Where are you? What do we need to do?
You just gave me you just gave the whole shameless plug a couple minutes ago. But you guys can find me on Instagram. My main page is dr.rennes, RENNES. It's dr.rennes. And there's connection to my website, the dance classes, to my other Instagram pages. And my TikTok as well. My TikTok is the same handle. So yes. So you can find me. That's where I play. I like to play.
Yes. Sis, this has been so good. I am so grateful that we finally got to have this conversation, and you were just like throwing gems out there, like they're just dripping from you. So it's okay. We're going to pick them up and take them to heart and enjoy them. So thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure.
What did you learn? Tell me, boo. So here's the thing. I think that everyone has been hurt in a different way. Therefore, your pain is unique to you. Just like we all have different learning styles. Some people are visual learners, others like statistics, others are sensory learners, etc., which also means that your healing journey may not look like the person next to you, I think that a lot of times we see gurus, influencers, experts, and teachers out there and on social media and all of that. And they are telling us that they healed in a certain way. So if you follow their exact method, then it will work for you too, right? And I think we have to be very careful to not take up a copy and paste approach. So the first thing is, one, acknowledging your pain that needs to be healed is a great step, right? It's the amazing first step. And then you have to follow your intuition to guide you on your healing journey. They say when a student is ready, a teacher will appear. The other thing you should know is that it's okay to have different teachers for different seasons. Oh, some people are just like, what? I've been following Papa God for the last 20 years. Yeah. You don't get mad at me. Listen, if you are not learning and graduating from a teacher, you should be worried. That means your growth is being stunted, honey. Now, I remember when I was at rock bottom and my mind was overridden with crap. Anyway, so at that time, I found Joel Osteen and I started to listen to his sermons and his messages. And he has such a powerful message on positivity and being mindful of the words that you say after I am. Now, girl, I would listen to his sermons night and day, just over and over and over again. Because at the time, I needed the renewing of my mind. You get? And when I learned that lesson, I graduated to other teachers. I'll tell you straight up, I cannot listen to Joel Osteen right now. Because what he was feeding me at the time, that was baby food. And there are other lessons that I needed to learn after that and to be fed that would then give me solid food. And I'm not bashing Joel Osteen. He literally saved me in that moment. He was exactly what I needed. But right now, I need something different. Now, I'm saying all this to say, I hope that you have chosen to go on your healing journey. And, all of the women that I bring on the show, I hope are really just helping you to unlock things that maybe you didn't even have the vocabulary to express. Or you open yourself up to say, oh, okay, in that area, I need healing, And all of them are amazing. They've got all these beautiful ways and tools that can help you on your healing journey. So if you find that you want to do dancing, amazing. If you find that you are more inclined to do poetry and journal, amazing. It's not that one healing journey is more valuable than the other. It's about identifying what really works for you. Now, if you're already on your healing journey, don't be afraid to follow your intuition. Because as we say in Know Your Roots, when we're talking about obedience, it's about being obedient to your Creator. And he sent the Holy Spirit to be with you, honey, and to guide you. So follow the guidance. It's there for you for a good reason. So you know how we do. Please give people their roses right now. Go find Dr. Rennes on Instagram at dr.rennes and tell her you heard her on the Africana Woman podcast. I love me some Dr. Rennes. She dances to African music 1,000 times better than I ever will. But go get your groove on when you visit her page. Y'all know my playground is Instagram. Find me at Chulu by Design. Tag me, tell your friends about the Africana Woman podcast. And don't forget to subscribe, guys. Subscribe. And when you put a review, it actually really helps the podcast. Let me know what you took away from this episode. I will talk to you soon. This has been a production of Africana Woman Media.